Gene, good morning.
Good morning, Alison. Good to be with you.
Monday's arrived.
Here we are again.
Monday, November 7th.
Coffee break Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yes, Mondays and Wednesdays. So I was listening to on the radio, a little fiery show, because we're going to talk about the obvious. I don't know if it's news, but people are talking about it. The launch of BravoCon and Real Housewives. So we'll chat with that. I took notes from viewers from your radio show, so we'll hit on that stuff. But let's do like hard news first.
Sure.
Karen Reed retrial, but the courthouse is still in the news, dead of mass, because now Brian Walshe, the husband who's accused of killing his wife, is going to show up there. They say he can stand trial. He's competent. Interesting, though, about this case, he's charged with murder, even though they never found her body. Her remains were never found. It's a sad, sad story. Anna's remains were never found. And then the twist, not just the same courthouse, but State Trooper Michael Proctor also involved with this investigation too. So this is larger than just one family. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I know that cases that he had worked on, a lot of defense attorneys are lining up to have them thrown out, disqualified, retried. Was a case like this in Connecticut, Alison, that was tried without a body? Remember that? It was a high-profile case in Connecticut.
He went to Brown, so there were Rhode Island ties, and then he died in prison, I believe. Yes, very similar.
That's him being let in. Yep.
So that's Brian Walshe. Opening statements could begin as soon as December 1st. Last week, a judge determined, yes, that he could stand trial, that he was competent. So we're going to pay attention to that because it's a big story around here. And it's in the same courthouse that we know so well.
I was up there.
You sure were.
A couple of times. Yeah.
You sure were. So I know a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about that today, but it's happening.
Okay.
All right. President Trump.
Yep.
Where do we begin with the sound bites from over the weekend? All right. Let's begin. Dan, if you don't mind, let's just toss to the first one related to Epstein.
Talk about it because fake news like you're a terrible reporter, and fake news like they just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration.
Wow.
That's nice, huh?
Well, listen, let the Petra chips fall where they may, Alison. Let's see everything with regard to Epstein. He's finally flip-flopped on that. He was dragging his heels, urging that we just put this behind us. We're not going to put it behind us. Democrats and Republicans are calling for the release of everything Epstein.
And his base within the Republican Party, too.
Oh, Republicans are calling for it. So let's finally find out what this was all about. You know, for all this Epstein stuff dragging on for years, we still don't know what it was all about. We don't know if he was in with the CIA or the Israeli intelligence agency or this or that. Nobody knows. So now let's finally find out.
The question is why now? He's finally saying we have nothing to hide, finally letting the files out. They should have just done it from the beginning. It would have looked so much better if that's true. Because
the polls are turning on him, and he's got some Republicans who are turning on him, and they may have enough Republican votes to make it veto-proof. He says go ahead and release it. Listen, a lot of people don't. You're going to see his name because he was friends with Epstein. Epstein from the grave had an email last week saying he was with me at the house with women. But he stopped short of saying that Trump acted on anything or did anything wrong. Virginia Giuffre, the woman who implicated Prince Andrew, the former Prince Andrew, now just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, says Trump did nothing wrong. And I had Alan Dershowitz on the radio a couple of months ago, and he said I was Epstein's attorney in Florida, and I said, give me up anybody, turn on anybody who's going to get you out of this jam. Epstein didn't turn on Trump. Nor did anybody else involved in this give Dershowitz anything he could use in court.
But so a lot of people feel like even if he didn't do anything as far as a sexual act that was inappropriate with someone underage, he knew about it.
Well, he'll tell you that he knew.
To stop it.
Well, yeah, but he'll tell you that he worked with the authorities to turn Epstein in. That he got angry at Epstein because he was taking women from his spa in Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
So that's what he will tell you. Right. He was on the plane. We know that. He said, I hitched a ride up from Florida once to Newark, but I was never on the island. And now he's trying to turn the tables on the Democrats. He said, okay, if you want all the Epstein stuff, here it is, because you're going to read a lot about Bill Clinton and Larry Summers, who's the president emeritus of Harvard. So this is like a political twist and turn maze over here. But today he flip-flopped. So go ahead, release everything. Let's see it all. Let's see it.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. Here's another soundbite.
A traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
Marjorie Trader Green, I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
All right, so that's a typical response, right? Name calling, deflecting. Well,
there's more to it. They were tight. Those two, boy, she was
they sure
loyal.
were.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She made her name being a far-right Republican. And now she wants the Epstein stuff released. And all of a sudden, he's calling her Marjorie Traitor Greene. She says, stop doing that. I've had threats on my life. Trump discounted that, too. She's not being invited back into the inner circle, I don't think. She's out. Massey is out, the guy who's actually going to the Republican who will draft the legislation to get this bill passed to release. So it's going to be interesting to see just how many Republicans are going to sign on to that. It may be more than you think.
It hasn't even been a year yet. Okay, I just want to remind everybody, we still have another month and 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, it's only November. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah, of his presidency. All right, let's come back to home for a second. Providence Public Works employee. Now, here's what got me with this story. You know, when you're downtown, I always pay by credit card or whatever. I didn't know that they still took coins. But yeah, this guy's in big trouble. 45 years old, stealing from those parking meters, quite a bit of money, embezzlement with all the coins.
Yeah, can you imagine if this were the old meters, the ones that you actually had to enter empty of quarters? So Christopher Stetson is alleged to have looted the Providence parking meters. And did I hear that they allegedly found the stuff in his house?
Police say he was seen removing coins from several meters, and officers say when they searched his home, they found a, quote, large amount of coins.
Well,
so that doesn't look good.
Maybe he's a collector,
But
Alison.
Still, he deserves a trial, fair chance. Nonetheless, he's not a collector, Gene.
No.
No pennies, no more pennies.
He wants all the state quarters. He's just trying to get Colorado.
Yeah, come on. So that's unfortunate. So
don't you wish Buddy Cianci was around for a story like that?
Yeah, where do you think he'd take that?
Oh, he'd be funny.
He had his own bills that he owed to pay.
True.
Okay, so speaking of a colleague of yours, somebody's leaving the glamorous world of broadcasting to go into the even more glamorous world of politics.
Listen, John Laughlin.
This, huh?
John Laughlin used to be a state representative, Republican.
Yes.
Then ran for Congress against Cicilline. Gave Cicilline his toughest race, I believe. Very, very close. Yeah. Then John went to work for the VA. Then he went on the radio weekend show for 13 years, but he still has the political itch. So he's jumping back in as a Republican candidate for lieutenant governor. Now, many observers say this may be the year for a Republican. That if there's ever been a ripe time, it might be ripe now. I don't know. He's going to have plenty of competition, Alison. There's about 4 or 5.
This is kind of getting to be a crowded race, believe it or not.
Well, including Sabina Matos, who wants to keep the job, the Democrat. Right.
I can ask you, why do people want to be lieutenant governor?
Well, because it's a high-profile position.
It is, but it isn't at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, we've always debated whether or not we really need it here. We had that cool moose, Bob Healy, famously ran it. If I'm elected, I'll get rid of the office, right? But it's got a budget of about $1 million. You get a car, you get a staff, you keep your hand in it. If God forbid anything happens, we've seen it. We've seen it.
Governor, if he wasn't lieutenant governor, then Raimondo Moose, right? Okay, so maybe that.
So it can happen, but in the meantime, you get 4 years to run around and promote your platforms. You can have legislation drafted on your behalf. It's like a bully pulpit, sort of half a bully pulpit. So they're lining up. Who wants it, Alison? Well, Sabina Matos wants to keep it.
John.
And what's his name? Zykamp Zavoravong down in Newport.
Yeah.
He's an up-and-coming young politician. He wants it. There's a Providence councilwoman wants it.
Sue Anderbois.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's other people who want it. So there's going to be a Democrat primary.
It's going to be. It looks like he's most likely going to run unopposed. So
yes.
he'll be the candidate on the Republican side.
So this may be the year.
He's talking about affordable housing. Of course, everybody talks about that. And then high utility costs. I think a lot of people are going to get behind a platform around high utility costs for sure.
Well, you know what?
Right?
When Governor McKee was lieutenant governor, he did make utilities and keeping the electric company aligned, one of his platforms. He was big on having the trees cut, stuff like that. So it's a bully pulpit. If he calls, he'll get his calls answered. Not necessarily action, but
when McKee was lieutenant governor and during COVID, he did a good job. It felt like to a lot of people, perception-wise at least, that he was advocating for small businesses while Governor Raimondo was out dealing with the bigger DOH issue. So, I guess it's kind of what you make of it. And we always talk about how it's different from Massachusetts because in Massachusetts you run on one ticket for both, and here you don't. So,
but remember,
they did not get along.
Two Democrats, Raimondo and McKee, didn't get along.
Right.
She never brought him into the inner circle. And if a Democrat prevails, you'll have a Republican lieutenant governor. There's not much room for cooperation there. Although that's happened before. We had Governor Kachiri was governor. We had a Democrat lieutenant governor.
Oh, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
That's going way back. But yes,
Way
that is
back.
right.
Yeah. So it has happened before.
It has happened before. So it's a race to watch. It's not
Yeah.
always a race to watch, but it is this time around. So
I think John will make it very entertaining because
Yeah.
he's pretty
Listen, he
funny
knows
on the
how to
radio.
talk to us, the reporters, right? He knows how to
Right.
talk to sound bites. He knows how to get what he wants on.
Yeah.
All right. So we had a debate in the newsroom this morning
Mm.
about, is this news? Where do we run it? I'm talking about the Real Housewives, of course.
Of course,
Everybody's
it's
talking
you had
about
you had a debate. Of course, it's news. I
We
like
had a
it.
debate about
In
whether or
Rhode
not it was the
Island,
lead.
Everyone knows that.
There was no breaking news this morning, so but let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
But they are weirded out that other states exist.
That makes no sense.
teeny.
That's not,
It's a blip, but to us, it's the center of the universe.
we know that house.
Welcome to Rhode Island, where nobody tells anybody the truth and everybody just lies to each other's faces but talk behind their back. Welcome. I love it here. Smallest state, biggest ad.
Oh,
Yeah. Allison, as
so
expected,
predictable, isn't it?
it's a contrived group of women willing to act outrageous for momentary fame and maybe some money. The only guy who's making any real money is Andy Cohen, the guy who comes up with these for Bravo. Listen, good luck. It's America. Do whatever you want. Be as outrageous as you want. If you get people to tune in, fantastic. The only thing I don't like is that Andy said it's going to be very Italian. What does that
He
mean?
did say
Why are
that
you
once.
why are
Yeah,
you
not everybody,
attaching
by the way,
why are
they're
you,
Italian either.
why are you attaching ethnicity to any kind of behavior?
It's
You
a
can get
storyline.
women from any stripe to do what you want. I'm not sure why he has to say that, but we'll watch and see if he delivers on that or whether that was just a line he threw out to get our interest.
No surprises in any of this, right? So a lot of people are saying it's the remake of Jersey Wise. I went down the Reddit hole to just kind of see what people were saying. Dying at how they filmed at Goddard Park and are trying to make it look like a fancy beach. Right? We know nobody lives in the Newport mansions. Those are all part of the Preservation Society. But if you're
Yeah.
from outside of Rhode Island, how would you know?
Allison, they borrowed a pool.
That's none of them live there.
Nobody
No,
lives in
that
that pool.
pool-
I know that pool in East Greenwich. They
that
borrowed
pool.
that house. They don't live in
Yes.
the mansions. A lot of them are middle class working people. But Allison, you could shoot anything. I mean, this thing looked like a combination of Monte Carlo, Beverly Hills, and South Beach. You could shoot anything to look like a glamorous, and then they go to a polo match.
Yeah. And nobody
You know.
dresses like that at those polo matches.
Yeah.
They say it's Rhode Island and everybody knows everybody, but who are any of these people? You know,
I
that's
don't know. I know one, Rosie, because she worked for us, and you know her better than I did. I crossed paths with her a couple of times because we
Yeah.
worked opposite shifts. You worked with her at some point, so
Yeah.
you know her.
for a little bit of time. So I don't know.
Oh, by the way, but you make a good point. Everybody knows everybody. I don't know any of these people.
I don't know any of the other people.
Neither do you.
either. No idea. And I got to tell you, I'm getting confused with who's who. I've
And-
never. Okay.
And then they brought one up. They brought one up from New Jersey to be a guest. Why
That
did
was not a
they
big
not
deal.
trust? Did they not trust this crew to be
Exactly.
outrageous
That's
enough?
the way I read it. They needed to bring in somebody familiar to be. Yeah. I know you bring Becca on all the time. She's loving this. I think Diane told me the girls are loving it. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. This is not my taste. I would never choose to watch this. I've never watched The Real Housewives. I don't do reality television, so I'm a terrible person to cover this.
To each his own. There are some people who like porn stars. There are some people who like the pawn shop. They like they buy sheds full of old people's stuff.
each their own. I agree.
And
It's
some
not
people like this. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. My girls can't wait to see it because they
Right.
want to see Rhode Island. So they'll get into it. If I don't know if it's got enough juice to last the second season. It's a small
Okay, so
state.
that was one of my takeaways from your morning show too. Was you thought it would be short lived? I don't know. It's pretty cheap television to make though. If you're Andy Cohen,
Yeah.
right?
Allison, there's no such thing as reality TV. This is all contrived.
It is.
They put together a
People.
bunch. They cast it. They put together a bunch of people. They cast. They say go out, act outrageous, and put the makeup on and put the glam on and go do your thing. And that's basically it. Apparently, there's no shortage, and we found plenty of people to do
Okay,
it.
that's my point. I want to be philosophical for a second.
Yeah.
How do they find so many women? There's a lot too. I think there's 9 women. That's larger. I was reading than other casts. How do they find so many women willing to do that?
Allison,
That's
everybody wants
I wrap my head
every-
around it.
everybody wants their 15 minutes.
Like that though?
Yes, they'll do whatever they want.
Really?
They'll do whatever it takes to get their
You're
15 minutes.
forever known in
Clearly.
that light. At that
Clearly.
point, it's
Yeah.
game over.
whether you're going to become a punchline to a joke at some point, but clearly there's an appetite for this. And
They audition for this? I don't even know how that works.
well, they was a long casting selection, wasn't it? They
I guess.
who are the ones who didn't get in? I'd like to get their story.
I am really surprised so many women would want to be portrayed in this light. I'm genuinely surprised by that.
Well,
which Mario says I'm out of my mind thinking that, but I can't wrap my brain around that part.
Yeah,
it's not for me. It's just not for me. But to each their own, right?
If there wasn't an audience, it wouldn't be on TV. He's got about eight of them now. New Jersey, New York, Potomac, Orange County. There's Florida, right? He's got them all over the place, and now Rhode Island.
Yeah, the audiences aren't that huge. They're like less than 1 million from what I saw. But
it's
I guess
the demographic. Demographic, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to talk about this every day for the next 3 months. I really don't. Dan, I'm going on record with that.
But wait a minute. So there was a debate in the newsroom as to whether or not this was
we were talking about it. No, not that it wasn't. Look, it's a national show. We're going to put it on. But whether or not it deserves to be a lead. Now, it was a quiet weekend. There wasn't any breaking news. The government reopened. So everything changes depending on the news cycle of the day. So it is what it is. But we didn't spend a lot of time on it. And we did a quick poll to involve viewers. And that was kind of split down the middle. At first was like, don't care, predominant. And then it turned into not watching. And then it was kind of right down the middle, not watching, we'll watch.
I don't mind leading with it. I led with it I think twice on the show this morning. I led with it. And you brought up Becca Berger, who's my buddy over on the 92 Pro FM. She's going to be the person to turn to for anything Real Housewives of Rhode Island. She's got a podcast. She's into it. If you want to know about it, go listen to Becca in the mornings. After you listen to me, of course. Or in between my commercials, you put her on, or go to her podcast. She's going to have a podcast on this too.
It is funny though, I think fact checking it. And if people are watching it from Rhode Island, I'm sure they'll get a kick out of just like seeing local places being spun as different places and the way in which they portray Rhode Island. Right?
They're gonna think we all live in Newport mansions and go to polo matches.
Oh, actually, that was one comment. None of these women have ever been to Pawtucket. That's right. But our news director loves Reddit. So I never go on it. But Doug's like, oh, you should really check it out sometime. There was some funny stuff on here. But I did compare like the Rhode Island Reddit thread with the national. The national for Bravo, people seem to be thirsty for it.
There's a lot of unhappy people on Reddit. A lot of people willing to. A lot of keyboard cowboys are on Reddit.
Listen, these people, I think they know what they signed up for. Yeah. So, right, just like politics. Okay. So there we are. It's kind of a quiet day. What else did you have? Did you recap any of the Washington Bridge stuff?
No, that was last week's news.
Yeah, done.
That's last week's
news.
Done.
I still hear it on the radio now. They're talking about it, but yeah.
What else did I do? Well, I was at the Italian American Hall of Fame, the MC. We had Lydia Bastianich, the PBS chef. She was in. And so I had an eventful weekend. And I see we're being joined by our weatherman, Alison.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How's it going? I was just listening to your little spiel that you had going on about the Real Housewives and whatnot. Enjoying that.
I like Italian food. Because that's all Gene did was eat Italian food this weekend.
I'm jealous. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
I did all weekend long. So but I was in good company. I was with Chef Lydia Bastianich. Very talented and very nice too. She stayed a long time, signed all the books. Anyway, I see what's moving in from the northwest. Is that the way those winds are blowing?
That is the way those winds are blowing, Gene, and unfortunately, just some more cold air for this week. So we had a little brief hiatus of more seasonal temperatures yesterday afternoon where we were into the 50s. Didn't feel like that. I can tell you that for a fact doing the yard work yesterday, trying to get some of the leaves up off the yard. It was cold in the wind, and it's going to be cold once again today because of the northwest winds. Right now, we're gusting anywhere between about 30 and almost 40 miles an hour across southern New England. And then it's also sustained between about 15 and 20 miles an hour, which is making the temperatures that are currently sitting in the 30s right now across the area feel more like the 20s. So that's kind of a bummer and really just some crummy November weather, more or less. But we do have kind of some clouds also venturing in, riding along these winds. It's all associated with the activity that's happening across the Great Lakes right now. There's a pretty nasty stream of some ocean effect that's coming down from Syracuse to Binghamton, almost stretching down to New York City right now. We did actually see, there was a viewer that reported in Foster last night, some snowflakes coming down for about a half an hour or so. They get a quick little coating before it kind of melted away once the snow did taper off, but the rest of the region really didn't see too much activity last night. So what you see is what you get for today. Gusty temperatures maybe making their way up into the low 40s with a mix of sun and clouds, and then the winds will be slowly starting to diminish later on tonight, becoming a little bit less gusty, but still breezy as we head into Tuesday. But the good news is we do have a trend in the right direction, at least in this temperature department here. Should be back into the 50s by Friday and Saturday. That could come at a cost, though. A little bit unsettled weather, some rain coming down from time to time on both of those days potentially. So that's what I'm going to be talking about coming up at noontime.
Okay. It's windy. Yeah.
Absolutely. The wind's the worst, I will say. I can deal with the cold, but the wind, no, I'm all set.
Yeah. All right. Look what just popped up over my phone. Can you see this? These are the new memes that are coming out.
Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is your colleague Slight 105. The trailer released. We have a major case of X, but we want to know, do you want us to talk about the show truthfully because we can't stand this type of stuff, or should we ignore it? So like it's going to go back and forth for a couple of weeks.
Well,
however,
that's
also
like
a podiatrist who was brought into court.
Pontarelli.
Yes. Yeah. So,
he's married to one of the housewives. He allegedly put a tracker on her car. The whole thing was embarrassing in court. However, I hear he's a pretty good foot doctor. So
then he's got a med spa.
That's what the comments say.
Oh, so. Listen, they all signed up for this.
That's it. Yeah.
So
it's coming. It's coming.
It's a choice. All right. Well, that's it for me. I don't have anything else right now. Moving on to some other Ask Alison stuff.
That's it for me. It's a Monday. We're just getting started here. So we'll see you later on the news at 6.
Sounds good. Bye, Jean.
Bye.